We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She was magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.
Well, welcome for another day of Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, broadcast through Soul City Network and WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. And so I welcome you today. This is an exciting time. I know some of you have been looking for your child tax stimulus checks. Which I'm sure some of you've gotten a real good surprise because I told y'all what was happening, that they were going to be sending it to you monthly. So starting this month is those of you who have children under the age of 6, you should get a check for $300 per child. And those of you who are receiving, have children over the age of 7 to 17, you should be receiving a check for $250 per child. Again, I'm going to emphasize and beg, plead that you take at least $100 per month and put it away for the child, for their future. I know some of it will supplement their school, education, clothing, and things like that, but this is some money that can change a child's future. And probably next week, I'll even go over the numbers of what it really means to put this money away for children for their future. You still would have another $250 or $200, another $150 or $200 to be able to do things with, and that's monthly. So, tax-free money, come on. We need to build legacies for our children. We have to do something. And so what better? Government gave you some money, you took it, you put it in and let it grow through the years. No touchy. Let it grow through the years. And then before you know it, that same child would have another $50, $60, $70,000 because with the rule of 72, we talk about that. If you put it in the right place, not the bank. Okay, if you do it that way and you sit with a financial advisor and determine where it should go. Of course, if you don't have a financial advisor, then I suggest that you contact my office, 646-375-2121, and say that you would like a free financial analysis, and it is free. There's no gimmicks to it. Some of you can attest to it that this is just a free analysis so that you can have a plan so that you can't fail by not planning. Okay, I think I said that turn around, but still the same thing. If you don't have a plan, then you are definitely planning to fail. So let's not do that. Let's get together, let's build and get to your financial advisor. If you don't have one, maybe my office can help you, Anaj Enterprises Inc. Also, those of you, we talk about this book. I know it's probably showing up backwards because for some reason it does that, but it's How Money Works. Stop being a sucker. And by doing so, this is by two of my partners, Tom Matthews and Steve Seabolt. It's a wonderful book, easy to read. All you have to do is send us an email at anajenterprisesinc@gmail.com and say that you heard the advertisement on Access Wealth Nation, and we will send you a book with a little bit more literature to go with it to help you enhance your financial journey, getting your checkup from the neck up, learning more about what you need to do to get your financial house in order. And don't worry about being embarrassed about things. The key is that when you address it, now it's out and you can deal with it. So definitely the book. Also, those of you, I'm going to take this moment. I know you all saw the advertisement from World Financial Group, Transamerica Financial Advisors, and they are one of our sponsors, and they have stood up to take care and put information out into the African American community. In doing so, I personally am looking for some people to mentor. Those of you who may have an inkling, not sure about what the financial service industry is about, and of course that is by not happenstance that you don't know about it, is because this has not been an industry that has been open to our community, and especially in educating our community. So we need to get this information out. Those of you who may be interested or would like to learn more about what does a financial advisor really do, or what does an insurance salesman do, whatever this industry in finance has to offer you, please contact me. You can send me an email at anajenterprisesinc@gmail.com, or you can call my office at 646-375-2121. I am looking really for 12 individuals to mentor. I know many people say that they want to do something different. We are in the age of entrepreneurship. It is truly a time. Many people have found out that working at home, it feels good. Okay. And also you pay less on the babysitters or the child care because you home. And if you work things right, you can stay at home. You can also check me out at anajenterprises.com, and you can learn a little bit more about the financial service industry. I have been in this industry. I've had my tax office since I was 19 years old. And I was working in the industry before that 2 years prior. See, that's the kind of stuff that we need to feed our children. We need to tell them about entrepreneurship and stop telling them about getting a job or getting a civil service job because they're going to be able to work for 30 years and then retire. This industry, this world has changed. So we have to change with it. And I know some of you don't know a lot about entrepreneurship, but it's a lot of information out there. And periodically, I do give seminars and information, basically changing people from being employees into being entrepreneurs. It's not a bad word, and it definitely is freedom. My dad told me when I was 8 years old, he said, "He who writes the check is free." And that is so true. You think about all these people who have money and they write checks, they pay people. And by paying people, they're giving themselves freedom also because they got a good tax write-off. But also the fact is that if they're able to pay people, how much are they making? And that builds the business, entrepreneurship. Of course, there's wonderful books out there. One of my favorites is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, talking about the areas of which you get into. There's more to the world than having a job. You know, we jokingly say it's the journey of the broke. It's really not. It's just over broke. But the real truth is there's nothing wrong with having a job, but there's also those of you who have bitten or had been bitten by the entrepreneur bug. You know, be it an idea that you've had all along, or like I had those little young ladies on a few months ago, where one is an influencer. I didn't even know what an influencer was, but I do know now. And also something simple as I believe it was Brianna who said that she didn't like the way that young kids, which were a little heavier, were being treated, and the clothing wasn't for them. And so she became a designer and influencer on clothing for children that have a little extra weight on them. And you stay at home, you got COVID, you got food, and then the next thing you know, you got a little extra weight, which is no problem, no body shaming here. But again, you want to have the nice clothes and look your age and enjoy. So come up with an idea. If you have an idea that's burning in your soul and your spirit, then act upon it. There are possibilities. Okay, so I just wanted to give you that kind of heads up because we're going to talk to an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur today. And I'm excited about it, about him coming on because he's a new entrepreneur, got fantastic idea, and he's doing a lot for our community. And so to introduce to you to this community and to our Access Wealth Nation community, I'd like to introduce Shakur Shah. Welcome.
Hi.
I like that. How are
Good to
you?
be on. Good to be on, man.
How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great.
Great. That's wonderful.
Every day I wake up, I'm just waiting for what opportunity is lying right around the corner. And you never know. Like today, I got an email from a guy who runs one of the country's #1 multimedia marketing firms, and he wants to buy my company.
Excellent.
So, it's like you work hard, you play hard. I think eventually there's rewards, that are lingering around. You just gotta find out.
Work hard, play hard. What does that mean to you?
Well, I said pray hard.
Oh, pray hard. I mean, I love that. Okay, I'm with you, brother.
Yeah, pray hard.
Yes, because praying is when God listens to us. Meditation is when we got to hear God.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah,
well,
there's no game without God.
I got it. Definitely. So, Shakur, you have your own business. You are the founder and CEO of Transcend. I want to say meditation, but it's not. It's media. TM. And it's a unique thought. Would you tell us a little bit about your company? Because it's really, I like what I'm hearing and what you're doing.
Well, let me give you a little bit of a summarized history of how Transcendence Media actually came to be. So creativity was always part of my escape as a young kid with so much that was going on in the New York City neighborhood, creatively, artistically, and originality seemed to be part of what made people thrive, what made people become the eye of attention, and I like that. And I found out that I was pretty good with writing. So my first sort of venture in the writing world was poetry. Years go by. After high school, I started doing like creative social commentary. And after college, I discovered something called screenwriting, which is writing for film. And when I learned my favorite filmmaking shot a film scripted by a guy who sold it for $1.2 million. I was sold. I said, this is where my writing needs to land. It was in the screenwriting world. So I did that for about 4 years. And what I did not know before I started is how fierce the competition is. And in order for any of your works to be produced, you just simply need connection, which I did not have on the East Coast. Most of the industry people who do like projects for California, Hollywood, and the studios over there. So what I decided to do is I said, hey, if I can't find someone to produce my projects, I will do it myself. And so really that's how Transcendence Beauty was born, out of, having been confronted with closed doors, you find a way to go to meet it back here. And, starting my own production company was what seems to be an answer for that program. And so, and even that had its challenges, right? So what I found was that it's not easy to just produce a film project or even a short doc without a lot of money, a lot of people investing so that you can get the staffing you need, get the directors, get the cinematographers on board. So I said, until I can build up enough money, what I'll do is I will shoot videography for events. And I ended up doing that for quite a while. So my partner and I, we've been shooting events for corporate stuff, for artists, for concerts, some red carpet. And, it was around 2014, 2015, I asked myself, hey, where is media going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? And everything I was looking at and researching was saying 3D. It was AR, it was VR, it was XR. So it was all of this like augmented, digitally virtualized presentation of real life worlds or simulated environments of real life destinations. So I researched a little bit more and I found that there were some companies that were virtualizing spaces into 3D virtual walkthroughs. So the audience might be wondering, what the hell are you talking about? I'm pretty sure if you have ever been on Google Maps and you look at what they call a street view, so that's where you actually go into the actual street of the location that you're exploring, and you can get a 360 dimensional view.
Right, you can see the building.
Right, you can see the building, you can see down the street, you can turn around and go the other direction. So, but what we were offering, along with Matico, which is the parent company of the software that we licensed from, is Google Street View on steroids. So instead of just getting like a walk down the street, now you're able to walk inside of an establishment, walk inside of a building, walk inside of a house, walk inside of a venue, a restaurant. And while you're walking through the space, what this platform allows you to do is to tag different locations in the space with a pop-up that when the viewer clicks on it, they get a multimedia pop-up. So it can be video, it can be photos of what it is that they're trying to show you, it could be a menu, it could be a form that you fill out. So there's a lot of interactivity with the space, not simply just navigating it and just looking around to see what's there. The viewer is also able to get a lot much more information And if I dare say, more than you would if you were actually there.
Got it.
Some of the tools that are provided to you, you can't get as if you were in the actual location physically. So there's measurement tools, there's tools for you to look at the entire structure as a whole, you can spin it around, and because it's three-dimensional, um, you get an exact feel for spatial dimension. So we've been doing that for about 4.5 to 5 years. Once we onboarded all of the gear that we needed, the software, setting up the system, doing a little marketing. So we've been doing that ever since.
So who is your market outside? I see you got a broad range. So you have like I know businesses can use you, especially I would say I guess real estate people. Uh, that's one group. Um, I know that as far for 3D, that gives them more excitement because you're feeling like you're involved in it, you know. And with today's world, nobody wants to go anywhere anyway, you know, because they're afraid. So this gives another element. Um, and so, where do you plan on taking this? How far are you planning? What's your dreams? What do you see? You know, when Steve Jobs, you know, put up that and said this is the new technology for the world. So what you as an entrepreneur and again the CEO of TM, what's your vision?
I'm glad you asked that because, um, in fact, I've been waiting for someone to ask me that. Hey, what's your vision in the next couple of years? So to answer that, the past, I would say, 3 to 4 months, we've been developing a platform to feature 3D showcases. Because as it currently stands, when when someone commissions us to do a 3D virtualization of their property, their venue, or their space, it's pretty much a one-off presentation that they'll either put on their website or they'll send the share link to their network, and that's how others are able to know that there's a 3D walkthrough of this space and make the visit. But there has yet to be a Airbnb of 3D showcase.
Mm.
And so that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to build a platform called showcases3d.com
Yes.
where people can come to the page, type in a vacation property, look search for a vacation property in a particular area that they're interested in visiting, and see what pops up. So instead of looking at properties through flat photos which is what you get when you go on Airbnb and some of these other vacation sites, you'll get the actual 3D walkthrough of the space.
Mm.
And not only that, you can also uh, have the opportunity or option to have a live chat with the property host or the agent.
Oh, okay.
So while you're doing your walkthrough of the space, you also have the agent there to kind of guide you to what it is that you're looking at. To
Now you
give
said
you,
interactive. Is it interactive that you can talk to somebody?
yes, it's interactive, it's live. So either the agent will walk you through the space, or you yourself will walk through the space, and the agent is there to answer your question.
That's awesome. I can see that being, you know, again, we're moving more into the tech world of pushing a button. You know, I sometimes you'd rather have that situation where there's a little distance so you can think, you
Right.
know, and enjoy before someone tries to sell you something.
Got it. Got it.
So that's awesome. And I see, you know, that there's a need. There is a need, and especially, I mean, we're in right now with the real estate industry. There's not a surplus. There's more of a seller's market than a buyer's market. But at one point, it's going to turn. and they're going to need some place to be able to look. And especially now that people are looking for places to live outside of their regular rural area. I'm hearing people continuously talk about the fact that, I need a new place to either retire or I need a new place to live because I want my children to get a better education. I want to see what the community is, but you can't always get there. That means you got to travel. So this is
Right.
one.
This makes perfect sense for anyone who wants to visit a space that's too distant to invest money and time, and then not like what it is that you're looking at.
That saves a lot of time.
Right, both for the buyer and for the seller or the agent.
Got you. So tell me, what was it that caused you, or really caused you, your spirit to say you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Because you just don't wake up and say, "Oh, I'm an entrepreneur."
Yeah, you don't because you're not taught that, right? You're brought up in a way where it seems like your number one obligation when you grow up is to find a job, right? Get a 9 to 5 somewhere, start off at McDonald's or at Model or supermarket clerk, right? And I did that. I did that. Um,
Well, that builds character. That's the building character part.
yeah, it does. It builds character. It builds some discipline, responsibility. Um, but the real discipline, responsibility, and character, I think, really shines when you go through the route of an entrepreneur and realize how much responsibility there really is. Right? So for me, um, I think it was because I really got tired of seeing people of color like myself who didn't make it on the front page of Think magazine or Business Week. I would flip through these magazines and I'm like, there's almost no one here that looks like me. And I think that made me mad enough to say, you know what, I think I can try to do something different, take what I've kind of built up creatively in my past and try to transform that into something that I can shape into a business. And
Excellent.
for me, entrepreneurship is really creativity times monetization. Right? So it's finding a way to monetize something that you're creative at, and where you can produce something that's new, that's useful, that's productive, that solves a problem.
That's the real truth. I remember my marketing professor said that so well. He said that you find a problem, then find the solution, then find somebody who's going to pay you for that.
Yeah, yeah. That's basically
And that's entrepreneurship. But also to the entrepreneurship, one of my concerns, which I'm going to ask you your opinion on too, is that unfortunately in our community, there's not a lot of financial literacy teaching you how to start the business. If I see one more person that says, I got an LLC, and I have to turn and say, yeah, but how are you being taxed? Because an LLC is not an IRS entity. And so a lot of people just don't know it. And I do periodically shows on it, um, and also trying to mentor individuals. So, what is your thoughts as far as mentorship is concerned, and how that plays even in your business?
well, I think being an example for the younger generation is really important. Um, I didn't have many mentors when I was so I know how many wrong turns you can take as a very young man, as an adolescent. They're all over. They're just waiting for you, open arms. From down here, it's a dead end, but I think you'd like to see with you. So for me at least, entrepreneurship gives people who do, have that level of creativity, discipline, and have an idea to create something that's marketable. Uh, Not just a chance for them to fly, but to create, a much needed example for their community. So, what I decided to do with our company was to open a nonprofit side to it, where we partnered with other youth organizations, organizations that cater to at-risk youth, and offered to open a program that taught kids basic media production skills. Right? And so our goal with the program was to get them trained in being able to come into an environment, shoot an interview, shoot some B-roll, put together a reel, edit it down to maybe a 10-minute clip, so that they can showcase, something that they discovered that is important to their community. So I think that way they can see, for example, that hey, there are people right here in our community that are doing things that we didn't even know about. So with that program, what we did was we brought in a lot of people from the film industry, from the video industry, and they were the facilitators of the program.
Excellent.
And
Yeah.
it really gave the kids the opportunity to see, hey, she's a producer at CPS. Wow, that's awesome. I gotta pay attention. So yeah, I think that's really important because um, I want to see communities transform from where we just have, the sticker stores on the corner, little bodegas, little mom and pop stores, and where the younger generation can come take that and develop it into something much more productive, much more valuable to the community. And leading,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, leading by the entrepreneurship is one way of doing it.
Excellent. Yeah. You have a question is what is your greatest challenge then as an entrepreneur? What's your greatest challenge and what did you do to overcome it?
Okay, so the greatest challenge, and there are many. Um,
What was that? I'm sorry.
there are many challenges.
Oh,
And,
yes.
and I say that because um, people who come from our communities, it's not an easy task. Okay, the places and people who have the resources to help you make things happen, they're not just going to open their doors and say, hey, I see you're trying to do X, Y, or Z. Here are the tools. Here are the instruction manual. Here are the tips and the insights that you're going to need so that you can build this thing without constantly tripping over your feet. We don't have that. So, but there is one piece of advice that I'm going to take from a mentor that I really enjoy listening to, and he basically said that people who do not have resources at their feet fail fast. So when you do come against a stumbling block, um, you have to rapidly pick yourself back up and look at what alternatives can be available. Sometimes you may need to pivot to something that will give you the leverage that you need to keep things going. So for me, I think probably the longest lasting challenge for me was finding the niche that really was available for me and the resources and tools that I have to come in and shape into something that I can grow and scale. So it's finding what is it that you can put on the market that's different, that's marketable, that has market fit, that can really get people's attention to the point where they say, "Hey, I'm willing to swipe my credit card." Uh, it's not easy because, for one, it's a lot of research. It's a lot of trial and error. You're not just going to come to the market with a product and then say, well, people are going to love this because my buddies in my school like it. My mom and my sister all say they love it, right? They probably do. Some of them will probably say that because they just love you. They don't tell you that anyway.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so finding product market fit, whether it's a service, a new platform, um, whether it's in fashion, tech, or labor services, finding market fit is not easy. It probably will be the most challenging piece of understanding what it is that you're discovering about yourself and what it is that you want to build. So don't give up. It could take time. It could take years. So it took me a while to get to where I'm at now because 5, 10 years ago, nobody would have been able to say to me and say, "Hey, you're going to be doing 3D visualization for spaces," and then end up building a platform where people can share these 3D showcases for the world to see.
Well, definitely, and I know the challenge of being an entrepreneur. I've been more an entrepreneur than I have been a worker bee, and it's no joke. But like you said, you wake up, you meet the challenge, and the beauty in it is that when we work for other people and there's a problem, you take the problem to the person who owns the business and says it doesn't work. When you are the person who owns the business,
Oh
you
yeah,
got
yeah,
to come up with a solution, and it's
right.
all solution driven. Yes, so I truly understand. You have another question: is how do you find and develop your market and clients?
How do you find and develop the marketing plan? Well, a lot of it, like I said, I think is trial and error. Especially if you're bootstrapping your startup or your small business. Um, you have to go out and talk to customers, to potential customers. You have to put your thing out there. Now, I know a lot of people, they may think like, wow, I have a really unique idea. It's a superb idea, and I don't want anybody to steal it. So, I'm going to keep it to myself. And somehow, by some osmosis, that secret is supposed to land on an investor's lap, and he says, wow, let's fund this. Let's put $1 million into it. Doesn't work that way. Um, you know, don't be afraid to go out and tell everyone about your idea.
Hmm.
Because for one, it will let people know, hey, you're the one who has this idea on the table and that you're working hard to develop it. Right? Most people will respect that. And second, you don't know what connection will come your way when you do speak about what you want to do.
Hmm.
Okay? So it may not be the person you spoke to directly. It may not be the person that person spoke to directly with someone else, but it may be, that third vertical that says, wait a minute, that sounds really interesting. Can you connect me with that guy and that girl and see if you can discuss some collaboration or how we can probably work something out. That's how that really works. Most of the opportunities I've had came from people I didn't expect. A phone call, an email. I didn't know the guy, but he said, "Hey, I heard from someone else who knows you that this is what you're working on, and I'm interested." Right? So that's kind of like how you build clientele. Um, to me, still word of mouth is still the best marketing method, even in this day of social media.
Hmm.
So initially, that's what you want to get, right? So you want to get that word of mouth thing down to a T.
It's
And
like your elevator pitch.
right, exactly. And talk to as many people as you can. Eventually, as you build more clients and you make a little bit more revenue, now you can invest in social media marketing.
And then also, if you really are concerned about someone taking your idea, which God downloads ideas to everybody, but the key is the ones who act upon it. Very little is known, but there was many people who were with the Wright brothers who wanted to create a flying machine, but they did it. Okay. And
Mhm.
and so the same thing, you can always put together a non-disclosure agreement with someone and say, I'm telling you this, but you're not allowed to tell anybody else, or you're not allowed to utilize it. You can put some documents together to make it easier. Another question is, what are ways you find to finance your new business or ideas? Where do you find your money?
um, well, I wouldn't put playing lotto as the number one way for building capital for your startup or small business. It's hard to get cash, just to get your project off the ground. Um, so rather than asking the question, where do you find money? The question I think you should ask initially is, how can I make this happen without spending money?
Or there are vehicles you could use. Now, there's like Foundation Library, which is now called Candid. That's a funding, it's foundations. You
Right.
can go there. Sometimes I know we don't always have Aunt Flo like Hershey did. Milton Hershey had his Aunt Flo who said, okay, whatever candy you're going to make, let's try to fund it. And she gave him the money. We don't have
Right.
like Barry Gordy's family who gave him $800. But ever so often, you have some people who are angels who want to help, want to do something, or got money hanging around and they're doing anything with it. And in
Right.
today's world, the interest rates are so low in savings. There are places, but it is difficult.
Yeah.
One thing that you can do is if you have a decent credit, or if not, you need to talk and listen to Tyrone Glover, who's on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock, at 6 o'clock Tuesdays. He talks about leverage your credit. But if you have good credit, you can take out some type of personal loan. The key is to have a good business plan put together of what you want to do. Another thing is that if you don't have good credit, then maybe you want to work on that a little bit while you're working on your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, in your current business structure, what was the deciding factor as to which legal entity you decided to use? So basically, this person is asking, this is Soul City Digital, so it's someone asked outside, um, how did you determine your business structure?
So this was 2015, I believe. We incorporated as an LLC. And I think the main reason for that was because it was the best place to start. So for any person who's just starting off, you don't want to structure your small business in the most complicated way at first. You want to keep things simple, right? You want to be able to protect yourself with what an LLC allows you to do, rather than just doing a DBA where you're just opening up a business and giving it a name. But initially, I think that's the smarter way to go because it gives you the flexibility you need later on. So as your business grows and you finally see what it actually is, now you're in a better position to say, okay, this is what type of corporate structure we're going for this type of business.
Well, one thing I will add to that is that because a lot of people open up LLCs, but they don't know they have to come up with the tax entity. If you one member LLC, you're a sole proprietorship, so
Right.
you're the same as a DBA. But if you do a partnership, which is like a marriage, because you now are tied to this person probably longer than a divorce would last. Uh, and then you have the S Corp, the C Corp, all of those. What I recommend and what everybody should think about is putting your team together when you start your business. What is your team? Make sure you have a lawyer. Make sure you have an accountant. You need a financial advisor. I know many people don't think so because they're like, I don't have no money. Oh, yes, you do. That's when you need people because at that point, you not only have to, because entrepreneurs, as we are really good with helping other people, we need to help ourselves. It's called I make money, but I got to put some money away for my future because I don't plan on being in this situation all my life. I got other things to do. So those are the things that I think everybody should get their team together, get their confidant, get your mentor together. And then at that point, then you can make some decisions. We've done some shows on business structure, and I'm glad someone asked that question about business structure because you've got to, depending upon also what type of business you're going in and who could get hurt by it. If you
Yeah,
have
that's
a food
very important.
business and someone eats something and then you own a house, well, they coming for your house. Okay. But if you are a corporation, the corp gets sued maybe, but not you because you are not the same as your corporation. It depends. Like you said, I do agree. It depends on the stage of the business. Some businesses are just an idea and you're just getting it together, but you don't want to commingle funds. You don't want to put your personal money along with the business money in the same account. You never want to do
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. That's
And
and it's easy not to do that. It's pretty easy nowadays to just set up a business account.
yeah,
So, that's obviously probably one of the first things you should do once you have your idea mapped out and you're bringing in some team members. Um, but the finances are, I mean, they're critical throughout all of the stages. But early on, getting the right um, staging for your finances so that you can actually start growing, that's important. Because you still have, a personal savings account where, whatever revenue you're generating is going
you
to,
make your accountant very upset. If you do that. You have a question here. If you're fortunate enough to get investors, how do you manage expectations? Good question, Stacy.
um, always lowball. Never hype up what you're able to accomplish with an investment because you're just going to make your work 2 to 3 times harder. And it's not a pretty picture when you underperform. So if you do have an investor that comes your way and says, hey, say I want to support this business, and but before I do that, I want to make sure what are your metrics, what are your milestones, what are your projections. Go ball. If the guy is or girl is still interested, good. If they're not, at least you're not selling them a pipe dream.
That's
Because I
true.
think that's a lot worse than not finding any investor and then having to bootstrap what you're doing 100%.
Excellent. Yes, I agree with you. And also, I mean, if you're being more realistic, people have more chances to believe you're telling them the truth. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
you're going to tell me that I give you $100,000 and you're going to turn it in 1 million in 6 months. Okay, that's not happening. Okay,
Right.
even if it was happening, you wouldn't be able to give it back to them because you got to get the business keep going. So yes, you get, the expectations, and again, put everything in writing, make it clear. Make sure you understand and the person, that's why the lawyer is important. A contract is between two people making an agreement. And if it can't go through, you have, well, if this doesn't happen, this will happen. You got to map it out without a doubt. Now, I was reading about you, and I understand that you have a little special service you provide to our community, and that is the fact that we have had a lot of brothers and sisters become incarcerated, and they have absolutely zero chance of getting assistance because of the record. Somebody says no. Because of the lack of experience, somebody says no. But I understand you have a program that helps them.
Yeah, so that goes back to the nonprofit that I was mentioning earlier. And it's called From Bars to Beyond. And what we do is we help motivate and encourage um, positive and productive growth by showing individuals who have a criminal justice past, or they're just coming home after being behind the wall, that there are ways for you to become a lot more productive, to find a career path, to find something that you enjoy doing, uh, and turn it into something that may be lucrative. Because there are so many others who have already done it. And you don't hear about their stories, but I know about them because we do the spotlight them. So what we do is we spotlight post incarceration success stories. Where so we bring in the young people that have gone through our media production training course, and we split them up into teams, and each team has a media project where they'll be paired with someone who has had post incarceration success. Like one example that I always like to speak about is a man named Glenn Martin. Glenn Martin did 9 years for Democrat.
Mm.
And he, during his time, he decided that he wanted to educate himself about um, why I ended up here
Mm.
and how I can reverse that for myself and my community. And so when he came home, he started an organization called Just Leadership USA.
Hmm.
And in less than 10 years, it became a $1 million plus organization. They had chapters all over the country, and they were training people to become agents of change. And so here's a guy who, if you would see him in an interview, you would think, oh, guy, sharp, business suit, tie. He
That's
worked with
right.
you 10 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So that I think is very motivating for somebody who's just coming home to see somebody who came from the same neighborhood, probably into the same type of activities, got caught up in the legal system, yet they were able to overcome these obstacles, change their lives, and transform their
That is so awesome. And I think it's so necessary because so many of our people in our community get pulled in to the incarcerated world, and not necessarily justified by it, but it's there, it's happening. And then, you can't, they got things where you don't vote, where you can't, get a driver's license. They got all these little things, but I know
future.
there are programs out here that help them, because if not, if we don't help them, they're going to go back. They're going to go back because there's no place for them to get any help. So there are places, and definitely as a way, did you put into the system here so that they know how to contact you? Because
Oh, sure. I could
what
do
you're
that.
doing is awesome on all levels. I truly love this 3D idea. I'm at the stage now. We have one of our associates is a major collector of, he calls it Black Americana. I call it Black memorabilia only because I see a lot of stuff that I used to see, but he collects. And I've always envisioned him being able to talk and do a video, but I wanted him to be like a hologram. I wanted him to show up and tell the story because he tells it so well. So, what you're doing as far as the 3D world, that's how we think now. This is how we see. So, definitely, let the people know. Are you putting it into the chat area so that the producer,
Yeah, that's it.
huh? Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. Definitely. Because I think people need to talk with you. And I just ask all of you if you contact Shakur, make sure that you let him know that you heard him on Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, because that's what I want them people to know, that they get on this show and so many people are watching and have questions. And just reach out to the brother, tell him that you do what he doing is fantastic, because the entrepreneurship is so necessary because of so much. We went to Tulsa, to Greenwood, Archer,
Mm,
and Pine in May, and that was the acknowledgement of the 100th anniversary of Black Wall Street, the massacre that took place. And the beauty in it is that back in the 20s, this is 1921, before the massacre occurred, there was, for every dollar spent in the community, it took 3 to 5 years for that money to leave the community. It circulated. They bought amongst each other. Sometimes it's almost to the extent you say, oh God, could they bring segregation back so we could come together for a moment and start working with each other again. I have no problems telling folks buy black. You should be able to, if you don't like the service, go back and tell them that you didn't like the service so that they can straighten it out, because we need to know how to serve each other. It's not boycotting other businesses. It's not boycotting, as my dear friend Sean Rochester, who wrote the book, The Black Tax. Stop boycotting black businesses. Make
mhm.
sure you
Yeah,
use us. You need someone to do video and you love the idea of 3D video. You need to call the brother. Okay, we need to utilize each other's services, because
yeah,
right now in our community, if we're lucky, a dollar will last. Once we spend it, it may last a day in our community. It's usually like 4 hours. And
wow.
so
Um,
back
yeah,
then it was 3 years to 5 years, and we down to less than a day.
wow.
So we got to
And
change.
the African American community has a huge buying power.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, and I think you can tell just by looking at a lot of these commercials, either Target, because they know that African Americans are spending money.
Oh, definitely. one
You
point
know,
seven
we're probably
billion
estimating to
dollars
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in a year. So
yeah.
where'd it go? Did it come to us, or did it go to somebody else's community? We've got all these stores. I remember growing up in the Bronx, over near the South Bronx, and there was, every store was owned by somebody of color. It was owned by, remember the candy shop. We had the candy shop was owned. We go after school. I remember the laundromat that was owned by a black woman, and I remember all of this. Now nobody in my community you know and I'm up there begging for services. Matter of fact, those of you, I'll take this one moment to say it, I'm still out there. We're looking for, I think we found one, a nail salon that was black owned, that wasn't going to take us to the cleaners. But just in case y'all got any nail salons that are out there black owned, let us know about it, because we need to take what we spend, a lot of money, anywhere from $40 to $80 every 2 weeks. We could change somebody's life, and I see
Yeah.
that you are doing the same thing. And what is your belief in being able to make a difference in this world? Where are you going to be when we turn 20, 30 years from now and we see Shakur Cha, right? Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Cha. I'm sorry for that because if someone mess up my name, I hit them. But what do you see written in the books about you?
Um, well, what I would like to see is that somewhere in the first paragraph it outlines the three I's that I believe in, and that's integrity, innovation, and impact.
I like that.
And for me, these were the three things that really guided my not just you know what I want to do in terms of an entrepreneurial endeavor, but the ways that I go about doing it. So that's very important to me. And if there's anything that would be, within 5, 10 years from now, I hope it would be that.
Excellent. I truly am. I have enjoyed you so much. I hate to see the time. I just looked up and our time is up. Oh my goodness. I want to have you back. We're going to be doing some economic summits and we're going to be talking about because we're about empowering our community. You got the information out there. Please contact Shakur. Let him know that you are there to support through ideas, through connections. You may know something that someone he can serve. We've got to, and he's left his telephone number and his email. And so, Shakur, thank you so much for being on Access Wealth Nation. I'll keep an eye out for you. I've got your info, and also I'll make sure you get the How Money Works book. Stop being a sucker.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, definitely. And I'll have you back for sure. Take care and be blessed. And thank you all for listening to Access Wealth Nation. See you again next week, same time, 6 o'clock on Thursdays at Access Wealth Nation on the Soul City Network and WHCR 90.3 FM. Good night and be at peace and be safe.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be lethal to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She was magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.